Senator, welcome to the program here. You're one of the longest serving senators there in the Texas Senate, now the second most senior Republican. What do you say to Republican primary voters who look at your expansive resume here and say, might look a little bit more like an insider in Austin rather than an outsider, which so many people want these days?
Well, sure, I've been in the Senate a long time and I've had a long career in public service, but I would say I'm anything but an insider. I have always stayed very connected to my constituents and I've worked very hard to represent them. I've got a long history, but you want someone with a long history who has, I've got 20 years as a prosecutor and a judge, another 16 as a senator. But if you look around, I am running with the support of enforcement. I don't have the endorsements of other big elected officials, and that's because I'm in my own lane, I'm on my own person, and I'm running on what I have done in my record and what I've accomplished in my long career.
Republican primary voters will see you. We'll see fellow Senator Mays Middleton from Galveston, Congressman Chip Roy, and then Aaron Wrights on the ballot as well. How are you most different from them?
I think again, it's my background. I'm an open book. I've taken almost 40,000 votes in the Senate. Long career as a prosecutor. There's nobody else in this race, and really, honestly, there's been no other attorney general in the history of Texas that has my unique background, extensive litigation experience in the criminal courtroom, over 100 jury trials. I've had, death penalty cases I tried, had individuals executed, presided over tens of thousands of serious felony cases as a criminal district court judge. And then as a conservative state senator, I've chaired most of the most powerful committees in the Senate. The State Affairs Committee, where a lot of the Second Amendment and some of the big pension issues, fiscal issues, but really the conservative issues really go through there. I chaired redistricting. I know redistricting law. That's one of the main functions of the AG, is to defend those maps. And, I chaired jurisprudence, which a lot of the legal big complex issues pass through. And then for the last 4 years, I've been chair of finance, overseeing every state agency. I know where all the money is. I know how the money's spent. I know where the needs of the state are. So I am perfectly aligned with what the duties would be as an attorney general. And nobody else, frankly, in the history of Texas has ever gone into the office with those sets of qualifications. And I present that to the voters. I'm ready to do this job.
I've also heard you emphasize potentially being the first woman and the first mother to serve as Texas Attorney General if elected. How much do you want GOP primary voters, though, to factor in gender into this race?
Well, I don't say I'm running because I'm a woman, but I think we can always agree that women bring a little different perspective to problem solving. But I stand on my record and I add that I'm a woman, and I would be the first woman attorney general in the history of Texas. When I became a senator, I was only the 13th female senator in the history of Texas. That's kind of hard to believe in 2008. And I think we look around and we say, here we are in 2025, and there's never been a female attorney general. I think there's time for one that's qualified and here before the voters and asking for their vote.
One of your competitors, Aaron Wrights, labeled you as the liberals candidate, what he said, and some activists have portrayed you as too moderate for this position. How do you respond to that?
Look, people can look at my votes. I have a long history of being a very conservative senator. I don't think anyone would argue that the Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick, is not conservative. I served with him in the Senate, and when he became Lieutenant Governor, he made me the first chair of State Affairs where all the Senate's conservative legislation passed through. Since then, he's given me great power in the positions that he's appointed me to as the chairs of the committee I've already talked about. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure we can all agree that Dan Patrick would not let someone who was a moderate or not a conservative lead these very important committees. So I stand on my record. Aaron Wright says a lot of things that aren't, you got to take it and look at the research yourself and look at the evidence yourself and make decisions about what you believe the actual facts to be.
Attorney General Ken Paxton leaving the office, obviously, to run for U.S. Senate here. His tenure, I don't have to tell you, has been defined by the impeachment in the House, the clearing in the Senate, but scandal and other corruption charges have surrounded that. Is there a specific practice or culture in the AG's office that you would want to get rid of on day one? And is there one that you'd like to keep on day one?
I like to talk about the positive things that I would like to accomplish. And I think that Paxton has done some good things working on federal overreach when it was appropriate. Some of these woke corporations who are hurting Texans, and I would certainly follow through with those types of lawsuits. But I would have a different focus, and I would focus more on the law enforcement side of the AG's office. I think that there has been a neglect of working with local prosecutors, local law enforcement to keep Texans safe. And I would use every tool, every law that we have on day one, using my background and my extensive experience, relationship with prosecutors and law enforcement. I have huge law enforcement support across the state of Texas. Um, Prosecutors have recently, for the fourth time, given me the Texas District County and Attorneys Association Law and Order Award, long name, but because I have worked with them on common sense but really powerful legislation that keep Texans safe. I will use those relationships on day one to start working towards making Texans safe, and I'll have a plan to do that.
This is a four-person race here. Where do you line up in this? What is internal polling telling you? First, second, third, fourth? Were you making the runoff? What are you thinking?
Well, I plan to make the runoff. I believe that we're all working very hard for name ID. I don't have to tell you, Texas is a huge state. Trying to get in all these different media markets, from and trying to travel to as many events as you can. I think we're all struggling to do the same thing. And it's just a name ID game at this point. But I think that my message is a message that means something to Texans. I think they know about my background, my integrity that I will bring to the office, my work ethic. I've been in the Senate all these years, all these votes, and I've never missed a day of work. I am a very hard worker, and I've been working all my life, 40 years now, in working for Texans in law enforcement, in keeping them safe, and that's what I want to keep doing, and I'm ready to work for them.
Senator, it is good to see you. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.